it just brought up another thought. You know, sometimes I feel like we, I'm guilty, and maybe others, of getting lost in chasing leads that may not go anywhere. Like, how do you decide how much effort to put in? Wanting to help everyone, wanting to hear them out, hoping it will turn into a deal someday, or just move on, like kindly move on to something that, hey, there's actually someone with expressing real interest in buying or selling, and that's where the energy should go. Um, do you ever struggle with that, or do you have any system to say, okay, this is time to move on from this thing? It's a dead lead.
Yeah, when I first got into this business, first of all, I'm a very service-oriented person, and so I always want to help everybody. And my life philosophy is more along the lines of, people cross your path for a reason. Either you have something to learn from them, you have something to teach them, or both. And usually it's both. And so, I always try, and you're right, there's a time investment there. And so I just have a very short series of questions that'll tell me right away if it's something that I'm going to be able to deal with. And so if, for example, I mean, I have a minimum fee. And so I know that if a business is going to sell for less than about $500,000, it's not going to hit my minimum fee, and it's not going to make sense for me to take that on. So I can just ask them a few questions about, you know, how they get into the business, whatever, let them tell their story a little bit. And, but then, one of my first questions is, what was your total dollars through the door last year in 2025? Total dollars through the door, gross revenue. And, so if they say $150,000, then I already know right then and there, I can't help them. I might be able to refer them to somebody else who can. I'm not going to be able to transact that business though. So at that point, then, my thought process kicks into, how do I help them? How do I, is there somebody I know that would be willing to take this on, or willing to talk to them about taking it on? Is this something that they really should be advertising in Craigslist or somewhere else? And so I just try and go through my own thought process that way, give them some reasonable advice, or tell them I'll follow up with an email after I talk to somebody else, and then that's it. And I do that. I try and connect them with somebody else that might be able to help them, or let them know that they really need to just kind of handle it on their own, and then I'm done. So yeah, I try and keep those brief. Um, when I'm talking to somebody who is trying to refer a business over to me, if it's a residential agent, I might say, well, what do you know about the business? Do you have any idea what their total dollars through the door are? Because gross revenue is important. I mean, that top line revenue is pretty important, and it can tell you a lot. So, you know, um, you can't transact every business, but you can still find a way to leave people in a better position than when they crossed your path.